What's going on, y'all? Thank you for checking in with Callie. Please like, subscribe if you haven't already. So let's just jump straight in. So from all the reports I'm hearing in the last 30 minutes and just looking at everything, and I'm seeing that Bradley Beal, it's official, he's going to sign with the Clippers for a 2-year, $11 million deal. I think that's a very reasonable deal at this point, especially after he got the buyout, and there was reports saying that the buyout was going to happen and the Clippers were one of the teams on his radar along the Lakers. The Clippers lured and got Bradley Beal to come their direction rather than the Lakers, which is good for the Clippers' sake. Hopefully it works out in bringing a championship, which is the only reason why, which is the only goal or the only reason that he's there. So that's great for the Clippers, great for Clippers Nation. A lot of Clippers fans definitely wanted to take that opportunity on. I wasn't big on the opportunity. Like I said, I haven't seen much from Bradley Beal the last couple of years. I know he has been on a up and down roller coaster team with the Suns, and Kevin Durant seems like he's just been more washed to me rather than the superstar player that he was years ago. I personally think, Bradley Beal paired with Kawhi Leonard is a lot better than paired with Kevin Durant and Devin Booker. I just didn't think that whole operation with the Phoenix Suns would ever work, and it didn't. They didn't even make the playoffs last year. Didn't even make the playoffs. And you got Kevin Durant on the floor. So to me, he's still a superstar by default. But, as far as carrying a team and putting them in position, as of last year, he didn't look like one. Now, this year with Houston, he might look different. Who knows? But the Clippers are going to look different. And like I said, even though I'm not really 100% sold on the Bradley Beal thing, it could work out for the Clippers in their favor because you're adding a guy who can score 20-plus points a game when he's engaged and when he's healthy and locked in. You're adding a guy who has a lot of experience in the NBA. You're adding a guy who once was averaging 30-plus points a game in the NBA, even though he was on the Wizards where he had the green light because John Wall was gone or not there at that time. But even still, Bradley Beal shown that he can be a prolific scorer in this league. So, having somebody like him definitely brings a little bit more uniqueness to the team because now it gives them a big three, even though Bradley Beal might not be revered, looked at as the maybe star player he was or once was on the Washington Wizards. But he still has, scoring in him, and he still could play. He could play a little bit of defense, not much. At this point in his career, the last time I've seen him play on the Phoenix Suns, he wasn't moving his feet as well. That could have just been one game. Not that I look at any Phoenix Suns games, just very rarely, that I did. Pretty much very rarely probably anybody else did because, they wasn't a factor to anybody in regards to being a contender. So they were pretty much, everything they did was light as hell. It wasn't really nothing exciting going on that end. But, now Bradley Beal has a new start, a new family, and the Clippers family, and we should all welcome him there, whether he wants to be, whether we agree or disagree of him making a difference or could make a difference for the Clippers, possibly, being in that position to win. Regardless, he's there. And, looking at the pieces, all the way around, they got some good pieces, they got some. They got Brook Lopez. I thought that's a very underrated, trade. That might have been one of the best trades of the offseason. You can make a case for the Bradley Beal, of course, but that might be one of the best trades of the offseason because, even Brook Lopez spoke on the possibility of twin towers, him and Zubac in the paint together, playing at the same time, on the floor at the same time. And that would be really, really tough for a lot of teams to deal with just in general, them two on the floor at the same time at any point in the game. The other team is going to have to just shoot jumpers because you're not going to be able to drive into the paint as much. It's going to be a lot of contesting in the paint. And then on top of that, on the perimeter, you still got Kawhi Leonard out there defending. Bradley Beal, he's not the greatest defender. I never looked at him as the greatest defender, but he can hold his own defensively. I assume still. He was a lot better back in the day from what I've seen, compared to now, of course, just because age and time. But you also got, DJ out there, too. So, they got some perimeter guys who can defend. They got scoring, between Harden and, Kawhi and Bradley Beal. So, I mean, hopefully it all works out. I still think the Clippers could have found a way to kept Norman Powell and still got this deal done, or still got this done with Bradley Beal, since it's only $11 million contract. And it was a buyout situation with the Suns too. So I still feel like they could have did that, but that's null and void now. I just don't know exactly how much Bradley Beal has left. Like I said, the last I seen of him on Phoenix, I just didn't see much. But maybe that was due to the fit or the non-fit to that team and what operation they were running, which maybe didn't fit his skill set. And they didn't utilize him in the right way, possibly. But at the same time, it comes down to, you can have big threes, big fours and all that, but everybody has to have a winning mentality. And the only person on the Clippers that I know for sure that has a winning mentality is Kawhi Leonard. And you maybe can add Brook Lopez too, because he's won a championship as well, I believe, with the Bucks. And he's always been, one of those solid type players, definitely in defensive player of the year runnings and things like that, leading the league in blocks, stuff like that. So he has that type of mindset as well. Not saying nobody else on the Clippers don't, but I know for sure that Kawhi Leonard does, and hopefully he could spread some of his knowledge off to the rest of the team, even players like Bradley Beal, because Bradley Beal's never been a winner, but he's never been on a team really where they had opportunities to win either. So we got to see what he can bring. It's no need to disrespect or hate on Bradley Beal. He's here. He's in L.A., or he's on his way to L.A. So, I mean, that's what we have to work with, and that's what we go with. I mean, like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if the Clippers didn't do as well with Bradley Beal. I feel like they can go a little bit further, possibly with Bradley Beal, make it to another round in the playoffs, more than what they did last year, obviously. I definitely think he can give that, but of course it's still on Kawhi Leonard to basically help lead the team and put him in position, because he's been in position to, and he's been blessed to win championships and know what it's like to go through the whole process, whereas most of these players on the Clippers have not had that opportunity, or they haven't, been on the team to, get to reach those higher heights. So either way, Kawhi is still the guy. And Bradley Beal and James Harden is really going to have to follow behind him, especially when it comes to the playoffs, because their playoff experiences don't amount nowhere near to Kawhi's. And Kawhi has probably played less games than both of them career-wise. But regardless, they're all together on the same team, Harden, Kawhi, and Bradley Beal, and they're going to have to find a way to figure it out. Now, Steve Ballmer, got to give him a lot of credit. He's putting teams together where the Clippers have been competitive, and they've been, in contender status because they had a player like Kawhi amongst other star players, on the team. And they've always been a team that's had a chance to win. Now, does Bradley Beal give them more of a chance to win than last year? Absolutely, because, I mean, he is an upgrade from, your third guy being whoever the Clippers might have used as their third guy last year in the playoffs. You could say Norman Powell, but you can also say one of the other guys on the team as well, because Norman Powell didn't play as well in the playoffs, so their third scoring had to come from other areas collectively because Norman Powell didn't play well. But Bradley Beal does give him a better opportunity to at least advance past the first round, possibly the second, because if he's healthy and if he's engaged and he's playing at his best, he is somebody who can put the ball in the basket, no doubt about that. And if he's still somewhat of a two-way player that he used to be, then he can play a little bit of defense still. And that would definitely help the Clippers also, especially if you have somebody who can play both ends. Now, of course, they always have Kawhi, but, Kawhi, you can't put all the onus on him, all on him, because he does need help as well. And this type of help, along with James Harden, hopefully it's enough. And hopefully what Bradley Beal brings is more scoring, which I believe he will, and maybe that takes more pressure off of James Harden as well. So, I mean, you look at that and in that aspect, I think they're good. I just think they need a little bit more balanced scoring between the bench and the starting lineup. Now, of course, Ty Lue can make something work with that because he always knows how to, kind of like improvise and do things like that. So, I mean, that definitely helps the team having, a coach who does that very well, because he's improvised a lot throughout the years, not having Kawhi and or Paul George, whoever was on the team at that time, due to injury, and still made out a decent team without his superstars, which not a lot of coaches can do that. So you got to give him credit there. So I feel like, Ty Lue will make some decisions and improvise in the right way for them to have balance offensively, even though I would have loved for them to have kept Norm Powell and put him back on the bench and somehow find a way to still get Bradley Beal, because then you're talking, okay, they'd be damn near almost unbeatable because their bench can give you 20 plus points. One guy on there can give you that. And the starting lineup is, heavy. And then you got two twin towers in the paint who could play good defensively. So with that being said, they would be more formidable in that way. But, that's not where they are. But the team they do have, we got to work with what we got. And I think the Clippers got a pretty decent team. I think they're a contender. And even though maybe some of the media might disagree, but I still think you always are a contender if you have a superstar like Kawhi Leonard. And adding somebody like Bradley Beal, if he just does his job along with James Harden and nobody chokes up and everybody plays their role and let Kawhi be the superstar. And then, you got Brook Lopez, a defensive anchor in there, a shot blocker, a rim protector at that, and who could step out and shoot threes also. And Zubac has gotten better over the last few years in the paint and holding his own. Defensively also, well, you got something there. You really do. So, we got to see what the Clippers do. We got to see exactly how Ty Lue is going to, play this chess game throughout the season and in the playoffs. And hopefully he plays it right, and hopefully his pieces stay healthy enough for him to put everybody in position to play at their best. But we'll see what happens. And, it's hopefully high hopes still for a lot of Clippers fans. No need giving up on the team now, and hopefully just, ride the wave of having a third star in Bradley Beal, and hopefully that, pans out to be what we expect, which is make it to the finals and win a championship.